I think the reason why sometimes story is misunderstood is because many times when it comes to story, often we think that good stories are free from conflict and struggle. This is what goes in our mind. We think like any conflict, any obstacle, any struggle, now my story's bad. But come on, like, it's actually the opposite. It's actually the furthest thing from the truth. Like, good stories are full of conflict, are full of struggles. Good stories at times are confusing, but they come into clarity. Good stories are messy. They're not easy, but they have a resolve. They have a purpose. They tell a bigger story. See, just for a moment, because I know this is a different type of collection, and some of you, you're like my age, you've been out of school for a while. I'm 36. I can barely remember, 7th grade English, but can you remember English 101 or go back to your English class? Remember the 5 elements of a good story? What are the 5 elements of a good story? Because this is good that you get this in your heart today, because we're gonna go somewhere for the next few weeks. I'm gonna help you write a good story. I'm gonna help you tell yourself a good story. But you better know the elements of a story. The elements of a story is it starts with characters. Well, characters, what are characters? Characters are the people, are the things within the story. And ultimately, there's a character typically known as the hero. That's the main character that solves the problem at hand. But there's also a setting. That's the location of where the story is being told. There's a plot. That's the actual story that's happening. There's this thing called conflict because every story actually has conflict, but ultimately, there's a resolution. These are the elements of a good story. And friend, I want you to see today that many of you, the reason why you keep telling yourself a bad story is because you have a misunderstanding of a good story. A good story is not free from conflict. No, a good story has struggle. A good story has pain. Just because you have obstacles today doesn't stop you from having opportunities. Just because you have some setbacks doesn't mean that you're gonna be held back forever. Every good story has a struggle to share. Maybe today you could start telling yourself a good story if you could reframe and repackage the thing that you are going through. Here's what I believe today, and here's what I want to share with you. I believe that every good story starts with God's story. And that's really where we're kicking off today. Today is really simple, but so very, very important as we go into the next few weeks, because I'm gonna help you tell yourself a good story. As I say that to you, I don't mean that your story is gonna be free from suffering, free from pain, free from struggle. No, a good story has conflict. But I believe in Jesus, there is a great resolve. But many of us, the reason why we don't know our story is because we don't know his story.